Hi, I'm just looking at one of these Tektronix DMM916 true RMS multimeters that I got in my box of multimeters that I had in my dungeon, and I've got it set to a 3-volt reference source here, and it's not quite 3 volts, but when I plugged it in, it was bang on 3 volts. And if I have a wiggle, 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 yeah, can I make it go back? Hang on. It was working before. Come on, you can do it. There you go, 3.0002. It's, well, 3.03, but you can see that it's bang on. So I think that we have a problem with the input jack, perhaps. So, yeah, because obviously, ADC, reference, everything else is working for this bad boy, but it's unfortunately, this is really high-spec meter. I haven't tried anything else yet. This was the first thing I tried, but it's look, it's obviously working. It's bang on, right? 3 volts, but it's a bit how you doing. And the only other thing I found wrong with it was this 9-volt battery. Focus, you bastard. There you go. Yeah, that can happen to 9-volt batteries, not just which have 6 4A cells in there, not just to your AA's and your AAA's, so beware. But fortunately it didn't really leak, but yeah, the magic smoke escaped from that one and physically ejected itself, so it's rather interesting. Alright, so let's have a look inside this thing. This one doesn't have the Royal Australian Air Force on here like my other ones. I think this is the only one that doesn't have it, because I got a huge auction lot of these, and this was donkeys years ago. I got like a dozen of these meters, and I fixed up and tested and sold the ones that worked, and the ones that didn't work, I left them or that were dodgy in some way, I left them in the box, and this is one of them. So unfortunately the tilting bail actually fell off. One of the little plastic things fell off, but yeah, this is like a high-spec meter. I don't know the specs offhand, but yeah, if you got any knowledge of who, I mean, I assume Tektronix manufacturer, well, no, maybe they didn't, maybe they contracted out, but it's a really high quality meter. But as you'll see inside, it's old school construction. Where's my bloody screwdriver? Yeah, there's no battery compartment in this thing, so it really is like your old school 90s, even 80s style construction of a multimeter. And don't expect too many surface mount parts in here either. And it's got some power on options. There you go, disable auto, turn off beep, but test LCD segments, gold. Oh, nice. Anyway, well, let's try that, shall we? Here we go. There you go. Test all the segments. This one's a bit scratched up, but it is dual readout there, dual display. So tongue at the right angle. It's got a plastic clip at the top. It's not the best, so don't know what the battery life on this is. There you go. Got some shielding, the piezo, and there you go. No, they aren't corroded. They're actually, well, they're a bit tarnished, but they've actually left the solder mask off those and that'd be guard trace, for guard trace reasons, I would suspect. Are they? Anyway, that is a definite deliberate leaving off of the solder mask there. And as you can see, we've got old school trimmers in here. There's our hybrid resistor network, board to board interconnect, and another little carbon trimmer over there. So that's probably for three more carbon jobbies over there. Oh, we got some surface mount. There you go. It's not all through hole. Meter of this advanced thing, you're not going to... Oh, it just lifts out. I've not taken apart one of these ever since the original lot. And the battery, there's no battery compartment. It's just... But then again, your Fluke 87 has, still got the wired 9-volt battery, hasn't it? There you go. We've still got the... there's the LCD. It's rather nice. And There's the switch. If you switch aficionados, that looks pretty decent. Should actually set that back to the known position of off before I forget. And there you go. So no wonder they make it easy to get out, because the fuses are on the opposite side. There you go. They got the original little fuse jobbies in there, although that's a yeah, that's a little fuse as well. They've got genuine little fuses in there. 2 input fusible resistors over here. That's like going to 2 separate paths, and PTC encapsulated there with some heat shrink, just in case the magic smoke escapes. You don't want it exploding everywhere. But yeah, you got the hybrid resistor network. Got another trimmer there, and that's all she wrote. Diode bridge protection. Should I take that apart completely? Oh, why not? Some people will probably get upset if I don't. Do I have to? Oh, I've got to take the LCD. No, I don't. No, I just undo it from the back there. I think that has to come off there, and the others I can get from the top side here to get this board off. But yeah, leave it in the comments down below if you know who actually manufactured this, and did Tektronix design it? Don't know. Although Tektronix have acquired various, and of course, you know, they were all acquired by Danaher in the end, weren't they? Fluke and all the rest of them, and WaveTech, and don't want a washer flapping around in the breeze. All right, so let's. Yeah, we got it. We got one. Oh, standoff there doesn't actually connect. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't connect to anything. Anyway, it's an NEC jobby. There you go, NEC fanboys go wild. 78063. So that's doing all the LCD drive-in. So presumably that's not the main processor. So there's our range switch down there. That looks in reasonable nick, doesn't it? Well, you know, for the age, I presume this thing is, or, you know, that's still going to work. Yeah, don't have a problem with that. Date of 97, there you go, 9717. And, all right, so we have that processor, and what have we got down in here? I'll have to prop this up. TC8129. What's a TC8129? I don't know, but we've got a 4069 over here. 4069 again, TLO62s, all your favourites, 4053s, of course, Muxes. More TLO, they're fond of the TLO62s. Got an 8E737, that's a true RMS converter. Not seeing the reference. No, don't see it. Anyway, interestingly, this is a, whoa, this is a, hello, that is, whoa. So this is a two-sided, this is a two-sided range switch, double-sided range switch. Now, is this marked? How do I get this back in? Right, because we've got the contacts we saw on the other side, and then we've got all the contacts here. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not seeing any markings there. So hopefully I'm going to have to rely, the shaft will do that, but if you got it turned a bit in the wrong location, you're going to come a gutser. That's interesting. Got an E-squared prom up here. That's calibration values. Is this your reference over here? That looks, or is that just a regulator? MTS 102. No, that's just a transistor, and it's got emitter-based collector there. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this isn't a detailed teardown. I want to, actually, haven't even looked at the solder, the input jacks yet. So let me just put this back together. So otherwise, I'll probably goof that range switch up. From a production point of view, this really sucks. Really. No, it's not going to go in. It's slightly, oh no, there we go. Have I got it in the right location? That's AC. That's DC. Yep. Yep, I got it the right way. Woohoo! Win. Yeah, you can see how annoying this design. Oh, this design is. Just from a production point of view, please, if you design a multimeter, don't do it like this. And you got to, you know, take the entire board out to change your fuses, and you know, I guess they didn't care too much back in those days, but these days it's a bit inexcusable. Even, you know, you could say it's inexcusable back then as well. Oh well, let them off the hook. Just got myself an extra long pair of pliers like this for getting in places, because I used to have one, but it went walkabout. All right, let's get back to the input jacks, and sorry, could have saved. You're all probably screaming at me. Yeah, hello. Of course. Are they like loosey goosey? I'm gonna need a bigger boat. I mean, obviously, if you just got shake-proof washer like that, you could easily come a gutser. Oh, yeah. Well, certainly wasn't tight. And I can screw that up. No, I really don't like those, but they are nonetheless, like, often, yeah, I suspect, like, because we're talking like 10 megohm input impedance there, and we were getting readings like slightly low and stuff. So I can only presume that, like, it was just a really high impedance path there, and that was causing a problem. And you probably would have seen that on ohms if I bothered to test that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could unscrew it and clean it and stuff like that. But I'm just going to put that back together. Is it that easy? Could be. Yeah, bang on. 2.9096 volts for 3 volts. This isn't my best reference. This is, and if I wiggle the jack, wiggle, yeah. Nah, it's all good. There you go. You can see that, 2.9096, and that's good enough for Australia. And there's no wiggle. Oh, no, 2.9999 now. Oh, yeah. Yep, so there you go. Nice. AC plus DC. Let's take it back to 3. 3.008 for 3 volts. Yeah, it's all looking good. Let's see if those fuses are intact and we can measure current. Probe. Yeah, 0.3 milliamps. Turn it to microamps. 299.9 microamps. At 300, bang on, 300.0 microamps. So no worries. I can only go to 30 milliamps maximum, but it's intact. There you go, 30. So that is a winner. Chicken dinner. Probe. There you go. So that is a real easy. It's not even a repair. Well, I guess it is, right? It was just a dodgy input jack, but it's very curious that you know, it had rather than just give no reading at all, it gave a high enough impedance that it was given a voltage divider with the 10 megohm input nominal, 10 or 11 or whatever, megohm input impedance of this meter. And so, yeah, it just like maybe some tarnishing on the contacts and combined with the looseness of them, and you just tighten them up and it pierces through any oxidization tarnishing on the contacts, and it's a winner. So, yeah, there you go. The Tektronix DMM916 Multimeter. I wonder if the others are the same. That would, because I've got 3 of these. So yeah, it's a, I have to check the specs on it, but I do believe, like, it's a pretty high end. It's like, I think it's 30, it seems to be like 30,000 count. So it's, you know, it's your 4.5 digit plus. Let's get my 10K reference here. See if the Ohmsky is good. I'd be surprised if the Ohmsky is bad, because, you know, if the meter works, yeah, it works. 9.991. Yeah, it's a little bit lowish. 993, but I'm pretty sure that'd be within spec, right? No worries. what is it? You know, this would surely this would be a 0.05% class instrument, although you wouldn't. That's DC volts. You wouldn't get that on your ohms range. That is a simple repair. Hands up if you have one of these. If we look down here, made in Taiwan. Who's in one? So it's one of the Taiwanese manufacturers. Maybe they designed it as well. I don't know. Is an early, I don't know, did Bryman have a hand in it back in the early days? Bryman were making meters back then. But yeah, leave it in the comments down below if you know who actually manufactured the Tektronix series multimeters. But there you go, repaired, beautiful. Oh, I'll screw that back together. And Bob's your uncle. Maybe, you know, this sort of stuff's annoying. Oh no, that'll just, yeah, I can clean that off. That'll clean up nicely. Shame about the scratches on the screen and stuff. That's not a... Is that silk screen underneath? If it is, then you could get medieval on it and maybe, you know, buff out that window, and it's a fine multimeter. How's the continuity tester on it? Oh. It's loud, it's instant, and how's the auto ranging? Ready, set, whoop, ready, set, go. Whoa, not bad, and it's got like a 30 ohm range as well. Brilliant. Or is that 300? Sorry, that'd be your 300 ohm. And 10 milliohms resolution, nice. And, you know, it's got all sorts of fancy stuff, like it's got, you know, setup. I don't know, right? And it's got all sorts of fancy whiz-bang stuff, and you can store, you can actually, well, if we get an exit set up, we can change the number of digits. There you go. It's got auto hold. So it's got a fluke auto holdy type thing. What does gold mean? Oh, gold. I was wondering what gold meant. It's the gold color here. It's invert, so it's gold. It took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out what the heck gold meant. So the auto hold, does it, yeah, it's got the fluke style auto hold thing, touch hold. So yeah, it's a fairly capable meter. Store recall. What else do we have in the setup? Can we go side to side? No. And bar graph. Oh, that, what, it's got different mode bar graphs. Does it have like center zero and stuff like that? Probably does. So yeah, it's got the DBMs, and we've got temperature as well, and it's a pretty capable little thing. It didn't measure the nanofarads. There you go. It's got 300 residual. Puff, that is. Oh, I'll tell you what, I will leave a link down below to my EEVblog eBay store, and I will auction this off starting at 99 cents. So yeah, if you want it, go for it. I'm sure it'll serve you well. Anyway, there you go. If you've got any details on the Tektronix DMM916, leave it down below. Last calibrated in 2010. That's still a winning meter. Anyway, if you like that video, please give it a big thumbs up. Leave it in the comments down below if you know about the history of the DMM916, or if you're still using them or you used to use them. Catch you next time.